Welcome into Fire Mountain Gems and Beads. I'm Patty. I'm a jewelry designer here at Fire Mountain.
And I'm Chris, a photographer here at Fire Mountain.
And we are here today to show you a series of 5 easy-to-do photo tips that are going to elevate your jewelry photos. That's a really important thing. I mean, why do you need good photos, Chris?
Maybe a portfolio.
That's right. I mean, good jewelry photos give you a good history of your work. They show people what you're capable of when your jewelry isn't present. You know, you could be entering a juried contest or show where you really need good quality photographs of your work. Or you could be selling it online where you really need a good representational photo so your people will fall in love with your jewelry.
Yeah, Patty has done a wonderful job of making 5 really awesome jewelry pieces that bring up some of the struggles that you may have at home when it comes to photographing your jewelry. So here we can see we've pulled up one of Patty's images that she has here. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to triage the piece. You as a jewelry designer and as a photographer need to pick out 1 to 2 primary focuses of your piece. And this is great. You're at a great advantage because you made this, so you know. And so I'm going to take a guess here, Patty, and say that the 2 main focuses here is this beautiful glass cabochon and the written text below it. Now, what were some of the problems that you had while you were shooting this?
So it was really kind of frustrating, Chris. Whenever I've tried to shoot glass, it is. And the reason is that, as you can see in this photo, there is reflection of the light sources. Mm-hmm. So when I look at my beautiful piece, I want to see that text and I want to see a little shine of the glass so people understand what's going on there, but I don't want to see the light source. And then sometimes when I take a photo like this, I get a reflection of myself in the piece or my camera, and I don't want that. And then the color isn't great. Like it's kind of dark and it needs to pop more, really.
Okay, so welcome to my home studio. Now, how do you set up your home studio at home? Well, first, you're going to need some space. Secondly, we're going to need to be free of distractions, such as pets, kids, husbands, stuff like that. And also what's important is to be free of other light sources or be close to a switch where you can turn them off when you need to just use your lamp that you have here. Also, if you're using a daylight window, just a window for your light source, that's fine too. Just the same thing. We don't want any other light sources and have it set up basically over to the left here. And let's begin. Again, let's go over some of the tools that we're going to need to shoot our lovely necklace here that Patty made, okay? We have a display to put it on, okay? We have our lamp or our light source or our window over here to the left. If it's a lamp, I've got it connected to, this is a can stand, any kind of puller rod, desk or whatever, just to clamp your lamp onto is fine. I also have a nice little tripod, simple little $10 tripod that we picked up online to hold our tablet or our cell phone to keep things really steady and in focus as we begin to shoot. That's it. Let's begin. As a shot, really nice attempt, but let's do better, okay? What we're going to do before we start shooting is we're going to triage our piece. That can do 2 things. First, we're going to look for fingerprints, dog hair, fuzzies, maybe some modeling wax you were using while making the piece. We want to make sure that's all free and clear. And while you do that, you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone, right? And by triaging the piece, that means you're going to find the primary things, the primary ingredients, or the primary focus that you as the designer were making when making it. And so for me, I see 2 things sticking right out. One, we have some nice written text below this beautifully clear, shiny, domed glass cabochon. So we want to define our glass domed cabochon, and we want to be able to read our text. Those are going to be my 2 primary focuses as I reach into my photographic toolkit and find solutions. All right, so I have our tablet in front of our piece, and we're going to start shooting here in just a second. But I wanted to go over a couple of rules that will help you be very successful when shooting with the tablet or your cell phone. First is we want to make sure that we have our flash turned off. a front flash from your camera will tend to flatten things out a lot. And that's what we don't want to do here. By having a side light that you can control and manipulate, you can really add a lot of dimension to your shot. So make sure you've got your flash turned off. The next thing we want to make sure is that we're not zooming in to shoot. What will happen then is that our end photo will be very, very pixelated. And as we try to manipulate it later into some of our graphic designs and whatnot, depending on what you're moving around, it will look very, very pixelated. You don't want that. So just make sure that you're completely zoomed out, flash is off, and you're ready. So let's turn my lamp on. So I've got our lamp on right now. It's not really in its final position at all. It's just going to light our piece. And now is an important time to look over your piece and make sure that it's free of fingerprints, dog hair, fuzzies, maybe some modeling wax that you used while making it, all those sorts of things. But you can also kill two birds with one stone now and also triage your piece and find out what its primary focus is. And two things really stick out to me with this piece. One is that we've got some written text below a very nice glass cabochon. This glass cabochon has a little bit of a dome to it. It's nice and clear, and it looks just nice and shiny above this nice written text. For if I had this light off real quick, it would look super, super flat, okay? But with the light on there, we're lighting up that cabochon. So I've just got my two primary things, and now I'm going to dig into my photographic toolkit and use the solutions to make those two things stand out. So one is our light position. Right now, I've got a little upper left corner orientation. I prefer lighting from the upper left because we read from left to right, and I want our eye to see that highlight first, recognize the quality of the material, the shininess, the dome of the cabochon, and then move through the rest of the piece reading our text, okay? But one thing I do see right now is I kind of like the size, but it is covering up this M right here. That was one of her main questions was, hey, well, I don't want to cover up the text either. So we're going to kind of fine tune our light position, and even, you can even slightly, millimeter turns of a display can even greatly affect that, right? Like so. So I've moved it up and over a little bit, and we can see that we are also kind of covering now the S on the she's mad part. So you could kind of start to see some of the trade-off. You will have a piece most of the time where you can't have it all. And there's going to be a little bit of trade-off, a little bit of sacrifice to get a better result somewhere else. And that's okay. Maybe somewhere around there would be a good place to start. Would I want my highlight a little bigger? Ideally, yes. But we have some text here, and we really don't want to cover it up. So I just wanted to just kind of show you some of the decision-making process that I go through, because a lot of times you really can't have it all. So we've taken some pictures, and there's something that's starting to stick out to me right now, and you should notice too, these dark, dense shadows here. Now, what are we going to do? In the next episode, we're going to introduce a fill card.
So, Chris, I know you took my really sad photo and you went and worked your photo magic on it. And you came up with something fantastic. How did it go?
Well, thank you so much. It went really, really well. We triaged our piece and we focused in on light position and using light position to define the texture, color, and mood of our piece. And so by putting your highlight in, getting one light source only, and placing it up in the upper left-hand corner of our piece here, it kind of mimics the sun, and it's got a really, really nice natural flow for our eye to go to the highlight and then kind of go through the middle of the piece and read our text, and then come over to the right side. And it just kind of gives us a nice place for our eye to flow through. And we can clearly read the text, and I can also say that that looks like glass. And so with all those little tricks and tools, I think we're well on our way to improving our glass cabochon light position struggles that maybe you have at home.
This is so great, Chris. I really feel like now, after what you've taught me, the simple things, that I have a good handle going forward on shooting my glass pieces. So I won't have this problem again. And I'm really excited about that. That was such a quick, easy way to fix it.
And that's wonderful to hear, Patty. And we also have to say that, again, this picture isn't perfect, nor is any picture perfect. But this will kind of help us allude to episode 2, because one of the things that I do notice about my piece is that we still have a really, really dark shadow to the right of our cab, and we have a really, really dark shadow underneath our lovely chain right here. And so tune in for episode 2, because we're really excited to solve that problem as well.
I am just so excited to see what to do.
All right.
Thank you so much for being with us. We will see you in the next installment of our series of 5 easy to do photo tips.